Warning: this video will contain highly offensive material. If you are easily offended, you must make a selection in the videos to the right. You fucking whiny ass, pussy ass bitch.
One of the things about cases like this that gets my blood boiling a little bit is people will go, oh, this poor 15-year-old boy with a 20-year-old girl, I wish I were 15.
Right.
And the reality is that the outcomes on these young males are not good. Now, was when he was picked out by this devious woman, you know, I guess, should we say allegedly? I can't say allegedly because we know there's a baby. When she picked out this kid, his mom had just died, if I remember right. Is that the history?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Abby, this woman really is something, isn't she?
Yes, that's why I'm just looking at this mother, and if I were him, I would get a lawyer and I would do everything I could to get something on this woman. This is so inappropriate and so wrong. This is where you see the law being twisted, and the offender, the bad guy, is getting away with it. And these are one of those times where the legislation is just not working right.
When Captain told the judge he pays child support for 3 children, the judge said he could not order Captain to get a vasectomy. He could, though, waive the community service if he does. To use the judge's words, get clipped. No word on whether Captain has agreed to have the procedure.
I can give you all my kids. Listen, I can give you all my kids. I can give you some of my kids' number now. They say, when my father's home, he take care of us. I can give you every one of their numbers.
It's not just taking care, it's paying child support because that's what the law requires.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get my
White, stop.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll make it $4,000 cash bond.
It's over state's objection.
Thank you.
Well, a Houston father is facing 180 days in jail for overpaying his child support and over-visiting his 11-year-old son. His attorney and a community activist are now demanding answers. Randy Wallace joins us live with a story you'll see only on Fox. Randy?
Don, we all expect to see judges throw the book at fathers who fail to pay child support. But a father who says he's been doing the right thing now has an arrest warrant against him. Hall says when the amount of child support was modified, no one told him.
And I discovered that for some reason his employer was withholding a large amount some weeks, a small amount some weeks, zero amount some weeks.
And I didn't want to go to jail, basically.
So Hall quickly paid almost $3 grand in back child support. When Hall and his ex-wife were in Judge Lisa Millard's court last November, he owed nothing.
Opposing counsel testified twice that he wasn't paying.
But the attorney representing the child's mother wanted Hall to pay her $3 grand in attorney fees, and Judge Millard agreed. Court documents also reveal Hall wasn't following the court's scheduled times to pick up his son. Another modification he says he knew nothing about.
The judge ended up sentencing him to 6 months in jail.
When she said, remand you to the Harris County Jail for 180 days, my mouth just dropped.
This entire situation is shocking to me. I've never seen one like this.
Community activist Cornell Letch wants the state's judicial board to investigate.
The court failed the child. The court failed Mr. Hall. The system broke down.
I can't be there for my son in jail. I can't pay child support in jail. This is not in the best interest of the child.
Judge Lisa Millard says Hall walked out of court after he was found in contempt, which she says is a big no-no. Judge Millard also points out Hall's attorney could have filed a motion for reconsideration. She says that would have allowed her to hear both sides again and reevaluate the situation. Hall's attorney is now working on an appeal, and in a few days, Hall plans to turn himself in, and Don will, of course, keep everybody posted on how this plays out.
It really is a strange situation.
Very, very, very strange. I mean, it kind of shows that sometimes these things can be changed, modified. Maybe one parent doesn't know, but it's very confusing, and you've got to wonder how this man could go to jail for this.
All right, Randy Wallace, thank you.
You're welcome.
Over it. You need to grow up and become a real woman because it's getting ridiculous, okay? Not only did he make the decision to lay down with you and create a child, you also made a decision to open your legs and create a child with him. So you have to deal with the repercussions of your decisions. And right now, that may mean that the dude doesn't love you anymore and he has to move on. But what can you do about that? Absolutely nothing. It has nothing to do with your children. I've heard the men complain about the child support system. It's one of the reasons they don't want a lot to do with us, because they know that we'll game the system and use the system that's already slanted towards women against them. Now, I'm not saying some of these dudes aren't deadbeats. I'm not saying that. But I refuse to believe that I had to say that because it really hurts me to my heart to see things like this. Yes, there are many cases like this where men have complained that the child support system, despite their best efforts, has done them dirty. Somebody has to speak up for them. This is Divinely Natural. Let me know what you think of this video. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Here's the first thing I want y'all to do. Men, come in. Bring your punk ass over here. Come in. This is between us. Nobody else. They don't need to know what we doing. We huddling in. Listen. Any woman who's got a man on child support, we ain't gonna date him. All right? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Pray. All right, niggas. That's what I'm talking about. Any woman, and that's the rule. Any woman that you meet that has a man that is on child support, immediately cut her out of your system. Don't talk to her, don't date her, let her go.
Wild and unbelievable stories here in Detroit.
This is one of them.
This is one of them. Imagine being told to pay child support for a kid that is not yours or go to jail. That was the order the state handed down to a Detroit man.
So today, he turned himself in, but here's what happened when 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell went with him to court.
Carnell Alexander walked into the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice knowing in moments he could lose his freedom.
I stayed up all night, couldn't sleep, thinking about it.
Carnell is a wanted man because he refuses to do what the state orders and to pay child support for a child that DNA tests prove isn't his. A child he doesn't even know.
I haven't even had a chance to really speak to him except for one time when we took the DNA test.
Nonetheless, right now, under the law, he's a deadbeat dad. Today, he turned himself into the judge as ordered.
Scared because I've been before this judge before.
But this time he had attorney Cherika Harris, who volunteered to help after seeing his story on 7 Action News. The judge said he will not go to jail for today.
Thank you. Thank Ms. Harris. And hope that we can resolve this soon.
I'm just trying to help him with his future.
Though the threat of jail is on hold, it is not over. Carnell Alexander still owes more than $30,000 to the state for a child that's not his because the mom wrote his name down because she needed to name someone in order to get welfare benefits.
And I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get assistance.
Now,
I'm almost homeless. I'm almost in jail. I'm out of work. My money is being threatened to be taken.
Carnell isn't just worried about how this is impacting him. He says the law needs to be changed, so when this happens, as it often does, other men don't become dad by default.
We can be defaulted into being a father of a child that is not ours. I don't understand that law, but it is a law in place.
In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Yeah, you would think that mother would have to pay that money back instead of him, who's not the father's child.
Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file, shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court. Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file, shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court. I'ma do that paperwork. Watch me get on, watch me sign. Thought you got away. Nope, half that paycheck gon' be mine. Super fresh, no, not no more. That shit all be in your bag. After 4 expenses, you won't have enough to pay for gas. Now you brought this on your dumb ass. You can't even fight it. I'm collecting from your punk ass. You catch me yet while COVID, yeah, happy every other weekend. Don't be getting mad, cause half your paycheck come with me. Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file. Shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court. Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file. Shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court. You thought that I forgot? Nope, just to make me wait. So just pay it all up front, and please, it won't be late. You shouldn't have tried to dodge, and you can't dodge, Uncle Sam. You be looking at your text saying, there it goes again. Damn, you blew it, yeah. Watch me do it. You are not prepared for me. Now you on your hands and knees, crying out your eyes, cause half that paycheck come to me. Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file. Shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court. Don't you try to play your child while you shuffle. I'm gon' file. Shouldn't have been a jerk, but I got your ass now. Now watch me crank that child support. See your ass in court. Crank that child support. See your ass in court.
What the fuck is the matter with you? You made them, whether you wanted to or not. You made your bed, you lay in it, as my mother would like to say. Man up and shell out. Fuck. You know, the amount that the average man, you know, with a decent job makes, it's not like they're in for all your money. It's a certain percentage of what you make, so like, don't get your shit in a knot, guys.
The Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nick Buckmeyer.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
Okay, Mr. Estes, I'm going to find that you have not purged the contempt. I'm going to order that you serve the 30 days in the Medina County Jail. And the Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney David Hitzman. All right, Mr. Hitzman.
Thank you, Judge. I have one certified printout that shows that Mr. Hermanson has not paid anything. I talked to him prior to this hearing. He does not disagree that no payments were made.
So I have to find that you have not purged the contempt, and I'm going to order that you serve the 10 consecutive days in the Medina County Jail, effective immediately. The Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney David Hitzman. Mr. Hitzman.
Thank you, Judge. I have one certified payment history that shows no payments during the purge period.
Okay, what I'm going to do, Mr. Gotch, is I have to find that you haven't purged the contempt. So I'm going to impose the 10 days. So you're going to serve 10 days in the Medina County Jail. It's going to be effective immediately. And the Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Denise Weingart.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
Do you have any recommendations, Ms. Weingart?
And I would ask the court to impose the jail sentence of 4 days.
Okay, Mr. Kervin, I'm going to find that you have not purged the contempt, and I'm going to order that you serve the 4 days in the Medina County Jail, effective immediately.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nick Buckmeyer. Mr. Buckmeyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. In order to purge his contempt and avoid serving 4 days in the Medina County Jail, this court ordered Mr. Roper to pay $1,399.84 during a 4-month purge period. Of that, he has not made any payments during the purge period.
I have to find that you have not purged the contempt, and I'm going to order that you serve the 4 days in the Medina County Jail, effective immediately.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument
are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
The Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Lisa Monick. Ms. Monick.
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the state of Ohio, the defendant obligor, Mr. Pickett, in order to purge his contempt over the last 4 months, was under an order to seek work.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
So, Mr. Pickett, I'm going to find that you have not purged the contempt, and I'm going to order that you serve the 4 consecutive days in the Medina County Jail effective immediately. Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney David Hitzman. Mr. Hitzman.
Thank you, Judge. I have 2 certified payment histories that show that Mr. Sprumbley paid 51% during the entire purge period. That is over 2 accounts. He was doing much better up until, I believe, the end of January, and then it looks like everything just stopped.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
I'm going to find that he has not purged the contempt, and I'm going to order he serve the 10 consecutive days in the Medina County Jail effective immediately. Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney David Hitzman. Mr. Hitzman.
Thank you, Judge. Our certified Exhibit A shows that he has not paid since the continuance. I would recommend he has not purged. I will submit this as our exhibit.
All right, I'm going to find that he has not purged the contempt. I'm going to order that he serve 30 days in the Medina County Jail, effective on his apprehension, and I'll issue a capias for his arrest.
Thank you, Judge.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
The Child Support Enforcement Agency is represented by Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Nick Buckmeyer. Mr. Buckmeyer.
Thank you, Your Honor. During the entire purge period, including the continued months, Mr. Telty was ordered to pay $2,963.10. Of that, he paid $2,000 even, which is approximately 67% of the money due during the purge period.
Statements of counsel in brief or argument are not sufficient for a summary judgment.
Just hearing the words child support sparks an emotional response in just about anyone. Fathers who feel like the rules are more about the paycheck than the parenting. Moms who say they can't live on what they have.
In general, I think the perception is that it's unfairly biased towards men in the state of Massachusetts.
I think that the formula used is fair. The law is reasonable. People have a responsibility to support their children.
I bring home $1,626 a week, and $350 go to child support.
Brian Ayer says $18,000 a year in child support for his infant son is too steep. At 29 years old, he says he had to move back in with his parents. He sees his son every other weekend and a couple of nights a week.
When I have my son, I still need to provide clothing for him. I still need to provide a crib. I need to provide food, diapers, whatever his necessities are when he's with his mother.
I went back to live with my parents. I had to, from a cost standpoint, until I could afford to live in a decent place. And then you feel kind of like a second-class citizen because your kids are coming to a small place after being at mom's nice house. And
John Gagnon has been paying alimony and writing out child support checks for 11 years. He now pays $2,700 a month for his teenage daughter. He says she stays with him nearly half the time, and his 19-year-old son lived with him full-time before going off to college this fall. He feels the guidelines don't take into account how much time he spends with his kids.
It really didn't matter from a child support guideline standpoint if they had stayed one night a month or 0 nights. I would have paid the same then that I paid for 13 nights, having them 13 nights.
When it comes to paying child support, things used to be different in Massachusetts. 1987 is when the first guidelines came out. Judges had non-custodial parents pay a percentage of their income to the custodial parent. They adjusted for the custodial parent's income, but only after the first $20,000.
Hello, my name is Brian Galbraith, and I'm the owner of Galbraith Family Law. We're a law firm of family law lawyers located in Barrie, Aurelia, and Newmarket. How does a father get custody of his children? Well, there's a myth out there that fathers never get custody of their children. This is based on the historic fact that traditionally, mothers were primarily responsible for the care of children and fathers were the breadwinners. So it made sense in those days that the court would order custody to the mother, since she was the one primarily looking after the children anyway. It was in the children's best interest to be with their mother. Nowadays, both mothers and fathers usually participate in the caregiving and in earning the income for the family. As a result, the Ontario courts are more inclined to order an equal time-sharing regime for the children. If a father wants custody of his children, he needs to prove that it's in the best interest of the children that he have custody. A strong argument would be that he was traditionally the one responsible, or primarily responsible for their care, and that he could continue to provide the care that the children want and deserve. Custody battles are often very nasty. They can take many months and even years to resolve and cost thousands of dollars in legal fees. The children often suffer when there's a custody battle between their parents. As a result, we prefer to help our clients negotiate a settlement. One of the best processes to do that is called collaborative practice. That's a process where the parties agree not to go to court and they work with professionals to find a resolution to their parenting issues and any other issues that they have to resolve related to their separation. It's a very cost-effective process and it keeps the power of decision-making in the hands of the parents. Most importantly, it helps prevent the children from being in the middle of a battle between mom and dad. If this video's been helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to learn more information or have one of our lawyers help you with your custody issues, please go to our website, which is www.galbraithfamilylaw. You can book a consultation with one of our lawyers. We help clients with custody issues every day. We can help you too. Thank you.